Hello everyone, I'm Tennant Dr. Matt, and welcome to my ultimate Tennant Hair tutorial for the Planet of the Ood hairstyle. Now for this hairstyle to look the part, your hair needs to be really quite long. You can actually see at the very beginning of the episode just how long David's hair is. At the beginning it's like sort of actually falling over already, and when he turns to the side you can see that it's like eyebrow level. So this is good if, you know, you've had a haircut where the back was cut pretty short, so that's not too long and like sticking out there, but the top is actually quite long. So like I said, probably about eyebrow level. And just one thing to keep in mind when you do this style, because your hair is so long, it is going to fall over throughout the day, and it will require you to do some fixing every now and then. It's fine because it's a messier hairstyle anyway, so it's gonna look good. Just keep that in mind that it's not your fault if it falls over. Now this is a video what I think is well overdue. It's been a while since I've had a hair tutorial on my channel, so let's jump right into this thing. First things first, you're gonna wanna wash your hair with a good quality shampoo and conditioner. I recommend anything by Moroccan Oil. Now at this point, this is where I apply just a little bit of anti-frizz serum, but obviously that's totally optional. I just do it because otherwise my hair would be a little bit too fluffy. After that, we're going to move on to blow drying, and it is actually pretty important how you blow dry your hair for this style.
So you can really use blow drying to your advantage to sort of get your hair going in the shape that you want before you even get to, you know, straightening or anything like that. So with this particular hairstyle, since my hair is so long and I need a little extra lift, I'm going to start at the front and kind of blow dry the very fringe of my hair upwards just to give it a little bit extra oomph so it doesn't fall over too much. Then I'm going to move over to the sides and basically blow dry from the left towards the center and from the right towards the center. And don't neglect the back. So a lot of the time that I'm blow drying, I'm using my opposite hand to kind of comb through the hair. I've tried to do this with a real comb like I've seen other people do, and I just don't have the coordination for that apparently. So I just use my fingers, and I work mostly with the fringe, giving it lift, and then blow drying it from the left towards the right, just to sort of get that falling over to the right side sort of thing. And then I'll blow dry the right side towards the center a little bit just to get it kind of straightened out. So basically you're just going to do those things over and over again until your hair is totally dry, and you'll notice at the end that if you did it right, your hair will be in basically the shape that you want, and it'll actually be sort of partially straightened, so you don't have to do quite as much with the straightener in the next step.
Once our hair is all good and blow dried, we're going to move on to straightening as per usual. And this time I'm just going to go a little bit more crazy than usual because for this style, since your hair has to be so long and it's like so forward, I really need to make my hair like as straight as humanly possible. So I'm just going to kind of go nuts with this thing. And I'm going to start in the front, and I do kind of straighten my hair just up and out. More so up because of your hair's length, it's going to naturally fall forward a bit, and so you don't really need to worry about straightening it out as much as you normally might for one of the shorter hairstyles. As well as this sort of middle section here, I'm going to make sure that I straighten that sort of upwards as well, just to give it a little bit of extra lift that it's going to need in order to stay standing. And once I've got it to a point where it's mostly straight, I am going to take the front and sort of straighten it just a little bit towards the right because as you see later in the episode, when his hair is kind of starting to fall a little bit, you notice it does fall towards the right. It's not just falling straight down the center. So I'll take my fringe and kind of do this. So now that I've got my hair as stick straight as possible, you can see it's already sort of taking that shape. It's just very forward and towards the center. So now that the annoying part is out of the way, let's get into the products and the fun stuff. So normally at this point in the video is when I would tell you that I'm using Alternate Hair Concrete, but today I'm doing something a little bit different. Today I'm using two products by TG Bedhead. I'm going to be using both the matte separation wax and the hair stick. And spoiler alert, I will have a review video for those coming up soon. So just very briefly, before we get started, the matte separation wax is what's going to provide most of your hold. I mean, this is like super, like extreme hold, just like the hair concrete, just a little bit on the drier side. Now the hair stick is really, it also provides pretty good hold, not quite as strong as the separation wax, but this has a little bit of castor oil in it, and so it really gives your hair just a little bit of shine, nice bit of wet look, and really brings out the texture in a good way. So we're gonna start with just about, typical fingerful of the matte separation wax first. As per usual with the hair concrete, you're gonna work that into your hands first till it's good and emulsified. And now here, we're gonna start really in this sort of center forward area, just because that's the area where you want most of your lift to be happening. I'll start there with one hand, working towards the back. So you do need a little bit of lift there as well, and make sure to get the sides as well. And so now with the other hand, I'm really gonna do a little more on the sides, and then the rest right in the fringe in the front. And now I'm just gonna work that through as evenly as possible. So as you can see, I've got some killer hold already. I mean, I haven't even done anything and it just stands like straight up on end. But this product is very dry looking, and as the name suggests, it has a very matte finish, so it looks very natural. Once it's totally dried, it looks like you have no product in your hair and it's just standing up on its own, which is kind of strange actually. So that is where the hair stick comes in. And what I like about this is that you don't have to dig your hand in there to get the stuff out. There's a little button on the bottom that you just kind of push it out, and now what you're going to do is just literally just roll it on your head. So I'm not going to use as much of this as I normally would if I was using it solely as a product, since we already have the separation wax in there. So I'm going to apply a little bit to the sides, a little bit like right underneath the fringe like that, and then just a little bit in like a circular motion around the top. And kind of with your opposite hand, you can work it in as you go, just to kind of get it nice and even. Now you don't want to use too much of this for this style because, as you can see in the episode, his hair does look a little bit on the drier side. It's not quite as much of a wet look as it is in other episodes. So I think with what I've got there, that's probably plenty. So now is like the fun part. I mean, this style is messier than others. You'll see, he's got, especially on the sides, there are little pieces that are kind of sticking out here or there. So what I like to do for this, I like to mess it up like this on the sides first. And now what you will notice throughout the episode, he does not have wispy hair going forward like in the peaks, widow's peak area like this. It's really, the forehead is pretty clear, so you want the sides to be more or less straight down here like that. And now you want to brush the top kind of straight back, and now just kind of pull it forward just lightly, kind of like in a faux hawk direction. Like you're kind of pulling it towards the center and forward. And if you get the sides forward like that, that's fine. You can fix those at the end. But basically, you want to take your fingers like this, and you can kind of comb the back from the sides right towards the center like so, and just kind of do that all the way up to the front. So if I turn sideways, you can see that it's starting to take shape, more or less. So now I'm going to clean up, just kind of brush down the back and the sides just to get those a little neater looking. And it's okay if you have some of these flyaway things sticking out here, because that's really sort of goes with the look. At this point, if you want it a little more messy, you can kind of grab like right where my two sort of parts are, and I'm leaning this way, by the way, because the mirror is behind the camera, and so I'm trying to see what I'm doing. So you can take your fingers like so and just sort of flick little bits just sort of up, just to get it a little bit messier looking. And in the front, you can take your fingers like this, real light, and kind of come up and just flick it forward just a little bit. And now what I'm doing, I'm using just kind of two fingers and just grabbing little bits to get those front pieces that are really sort of hanging down. If you turn your head sort of 3/4 to the side in the mirror, you can get a good idea of how well you're doing. So like I could stand to use a little more sticky uppy in this sort of center area here. My hair is long right now, and it's really still like not really quite long enough for this style. I mean, his hair was very long on top in that episode, and so you can see like some pieces are hanging down and it's like right at his eyebrow. So mine's it's almost there, but just not quite, but it's good enough for me. If mine gets any longer than this, it's just gonna fall over because it gets really thick and heavy, and it's just kind of annoying. So at this point, I'd say it's looking pretty good. If you want some more of the hanging down bits of fringe, I'll start from the left side and just sort of drag those over to just so that they're kind of angled towards the right, so that when my hair starts to fall down later, and it will because it's that long, you'll start to get the same look. And then, you know, since it's in that shape, it'll kind of maintain that throughout the day. Even no matter how many times you have to fix it, it'll at least be going in the same direction, so it'll look consistent. So that's pretty much it for Planet of the Ood. So as you can see, this is more or less a variation on the regular old sticky uppy. It's sort of similar to what he had in Silence in the Library, but just obviously the hair is just much longer here. So word to the wise, when you do this hairstyle and your hair is this long, it is going to fall down throughout the day. So I think a common sort of misconception to fight against that is to use more product. Don't use more product, especially with the bedhead stuff. It's really with both of those, the matte separation wax and the hair stick, they're sort of a less is more type of product. So if you go too heavy-handed on it, then your hair is just going to be too gunked up with all that product, and it's just going to fall totally flat and it'll never stand up. So I hope you guys enjoyed this hair tutorial. The Planet of the Ood style is definitely one of my favorites to do as my hair gets longer, mainly because it doesn't require a whole lot of tedious work. I mean, it is a messier style, so you can have fun with it. It's a little bit wackier looking, and it'll totally look fine if you get caught in a windstorm and it gets messed up. It'll just look even cooler. So it's definitely one of the more fun hairstyles to do, I think. So as I mentioned earlier in the video, I'm definitely going to have a review for the matte separation wax and hair stick coming up, as well as some other review videos and fun stuff, so please stick around for that. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching.